everybody. You know, I've been doing this a long time, a baker's dozen years, going on 14 very shortly here, and I've seen tens of thousands of RVs. I've got over 6,000 recorded, and usually when you look at these, they fit right into buckets. That's a couples model, that's a family camper, that's a toy hauler, etc. Every now and then, though, you see something and you go, I don't know if that's just a family camper or if that could be a couples model. And the way that we have this J-Feather outfitted here today, and understand, the equipment on this could vary, the seating can vary, but the way we're looking at it today, I looked at it and said, you know, if most of the time it's just the two of you, but sometimes you have some guests, or maybe you're like a family of three, like me. We were a one and done family. We didn't have a whole mess of kids. There's nothing wrong with it. That just wasn't in the cards for us. This is a camper that we could use to bring along like our bikes or extra cargo or yard games or something like that, and not have to worry about like folding out a hide-a-bed every single night, still having a private bedroom under 30 feet, carpetless with an enclosed belly for some extended season work, and all kinds of highway peace of mind and safety things like Goodyear Endurance radials, prep for TPMS, turn signal safety lighting, and all kinds of other stuff here. There's also solar packages that you could apply to this one should you so choose. Double Asdel walls now as of last year. Jayco updated that mid-season. Even some, they don't talk about it very much, but it does have some very limited basic inverter prep on here for specific outlets. And that's what's kind of cool about this one. I can see this being a great option for someone's like, I got a couple big dogs. Maybe for someone's like, where do I put the cat litter box? Something like that. Like, that's something a lot of people ask me about that the RV industry doesn't do well. But it also has a couple potential immediate deal breaker factors that we're going to talk about and show you as we go through here today. Always do my best to kind of make you think, but also showcase both the good and the not so good aspects of the RVs. And if you appreciate that approach, hit that subscribe button and let's get started and see what this one might have to offer you, either as a solo camper, couples model, or family. So they actually kind of make this RV two ways. Now, basically from the door forward, what we are looking at currently is indiscernible from the J-Feather 22RB, which is just a no rear cargo bunk, just pure rear bathroom, slightly shorter model, still does have a decent little camp kitchen, however. So, you know, you can get, like, if you like what you see here, be like, yeah, buddy, I feel like you're reaching for it, and that whole cargo bunk thing, that ain't for me. No sweat, no sweat. They make it both ways. Why does my voice jump octaves like that? Anyway, just those weird little personal quirks, like T-Rex arms. If I'm just standing there and I can't figure out what I'm doing, I look down and I got my arms all folded up next to my chest like a T-Rex. Somebody told me it's actually like a passive subconscious self-defense mechanism. I don't know. Apparently I got hurt in another life. Not sure. What is nice about this, depending on the seating you choose, because I'm sitting in one of 3 different seating options, you can be directly across on Boardwalk and Park Place over here. But the fact of the matter is, the really signature calling card of this RV is this cargo bunks situation going on. Now, up top here, what I want to show you is, well, actually both in the upper and lower bunks, you've got these handy little power pockets over here where the kids can, you know, have their own personal little device, have it charged up. And sometimes people will say, okay, so, you know, I get it. You can have this with a theater seat, a hide-a-bed, or a U-Dinette. The U-Dinette is the standard arrangement on this floor plan, by the way. But, you know, let's say you do have this theater seat like you're looking at today. How are you supposed to entertain a whole family on a rainy day? And to that I say, have you ever seen how far down the rabbit hole a kid can go with a smart device, an internet-enabled device in their hand? My daughter can, I tell you what, she can tune me out so quickly naturally. Then you give her a phone. I've never seen somebody ignore a call as quickly as a kid watching YouTube. And that right there is a fact, Jack. So, again, if you don't like the theater seat, you don't have to get the theater seat. And one of the other things, just to kind of look at this here, you see the one blackout roller shade, but dropping the other one down, if you really want to blot the sun out on a hot day, you can do that. Now, the theater seat, they are wall huggers, thankfully, and you see how they have those little cup holder swivel stands that kind of come in them. That's going to be effectively the table situation that comes with this. If you want a more traditional dining table, maybe you want to get an extra dining table and a few extra chairs and you can utilize all the space in here, you'll need to get that separately. But the U-Dinette obviously has a table. Now, you might notice these side stands over here. I'm going to get you a better look at those. You're getting these because this dinette, or this slide is already sized for a U-Dinette. And something I don't think everybody's aware of is First of all, a U-Dinette and a 2-bench dinette are not the same size. A U-Dinette, a true U-Dinette, is longer. What I appreciate is they didn't just leave open gappy pocket storage on there. And there is still storage below that. We'll get a look at that later. This year for 23, they've improved the standard air conditioner up to 15,000 BTU. Now, there are quite a few other brands doing that, but I think it's important to note so that if you're cross-comparing, you know. If you choose to get a factory solar package or add some stuff later, which we can assist with, by the way, that's where the charge controller would be located. And look, Jayfeather is very good about this. So is Whitehawk, its big brother. Putting light switches like in slides for the lighting above the seating. And 3 lights is probably overkill in there. And frankly, I don't normally say this, but I almost feel sometimes like they could do with a few fewer lights in here. Don't get me wrong. I like lighter. Lighter is brighter, brighter is bigger, and bigger feels better, certainly. But, if you're boondocking, man, you're going to have to shut a bunch of those off so you don't drain your battery. The good news, all you got to do is clickety-clack, and just like that, that light can come off. I wanted to do that slowly. I don't want to induce a strobe-based, medical event in any of our viewers by any stretch of the imagination. Now, decors. Let's talk that. We're looking at the sandy kind of taupe vintage decor. You can also get the farmhouse decor on these if that jelly ain't quite your jam right there. Notice, too, they do get rid of floor-vented heating in these wherever they can. Every now and then in certain Jayfeather floor plans, they do need to introduce just a little bit of that. And being fair, sitting right here, yeah, the RV is limited on campsite window coverage. And people go, well, why? Because it's not easy to put a lot of windows on the campsite if you have a slide out because of that door. You can't just always shove a kitchen into a slide. Certainly there's some examples. Grand Design, Imagine, even some Jayfeathers have done that. Like if you want more windows on the door side, take a look at the Jayfeather 22BH while we take a look at the storage in this RV. Now that is what I call a pantry-tainment center. But if you notice about halfway down, there's a set of power outlets on the left. And I asked one time to all you viewers that are smarter than me, what would you use that for? And you folks who are smarter than me said, that's the place where you plug in like a little electric vacuum or something like that. And I thought that was brilliant. Somebody else said that'd be a perfect place for a boot dryer in there. And I thought that was really smart too. I don't know. I'd be kind of curious. Any other interesting ideas, ways that you could use that little shelf inside the pantry-tainment center? While we're looking over here, we are looking at the 12-volt DC compressor fridge. There's also a gas-electric 2-way option. The 2-way is a 6 cubic foot. The 12-volt's an 8 cubic foot. The 2-way uses less power when boondocking. The 12-volt cools about 4 times faster and is much better equipped to handle hot, sunny climates. Now, in the bedroom, you'll see another ceiling vent fan. In the bathroom, you see another ceiling vent fan. Those will be the 4-inch fart fans. They do put the biggest fan in the biggest room on these RVs. They also put that big wide open sliding door right there to really kind of maximize the easy walk-through space. Now, we're going to see a couple potential, maybe immediate deal breakers on this, but one of those is potentially what we're looking at right now. It's a short queen. It's a camp queen. And they put room in here. I feel like they could put a true queen in it, and I don't think it would be too bossy. I don't think it would choke hold the room too awful hard. And if there are any Jayfeather owners out there with a floor plan like this, where they've put a true queen in, if you could do us all a favor, if you could kind of chime in and sound off a little bit and let us know how well that works, or if it doesn't work well, that would be some awesome, awesome information. Now, the sliding door, what is nice is they give us this little privacy trim and then a latch so that you can actually keep that sliding door effectively locked, just in case you happen to be, I'm gonna pivot and change topics real hard here before I get a call from HR. So, what about bedroom storage? Well, let's actually start by taking a look at the side stands over here, because what you're going to see is a lot of outlets in these bedrooms. First of all, both of the visible side stands have household and USB plugs. Behind the hanging wardrobe towers, you have what I like to call headboard power pockets that have household outlets buried back there as well, which is kind of cool. Not to mention, you don't necessarily feel like you're claustrophobic. Under the bed storage, though, is very interesting. They added a couple side dresser drawers so that you do have kind of a mine and yours drawers situation, so that your drawers in your drawers aren't mixing with the drawers in my drawers. And I mean, it's not that complicated. He was a boy, she was a girl. Could it be any more obvious? I believe one of the great sages of our generation spat that out. Either that or it might have just been Avril Lavigne. I'm not sure. Moving on here. You know what? I think we've already kind of covered it from this direction. One other thing I do want to mention here is they have all hardwood doors, and it is pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry. But if you want, like, if you're shopping and you don't know what that means, grab your phone, swipe it. There we go. Swipe it into camera mode, put it in selfie mode with the pinky finger reach back there, and then take a peek up in that thing. And while you're shopping, any RV, that little tip I just showed you will help you understand how the cabinetry is constructed in any RV, not just a Jayco, not just a J-Feather. Handy little pro tip for you there. Now, J-Feathers are kind of tricky because if you look at them independently, you kind of feel like, well, why didn't they do this? Why don't they have a fireplace? Why didn't they do that? And you have to remember that they're kind of a member of a family, and every member of the family kind of has a different purpose and different role. And if you want all those extra little doodads, widgets, and whiz-bangs, that's where the Jayco White Hawk kind of comes into play. Whereas the Feather here, they're not necessarily trying to be the lightest weight, because they're certainly not the lightest weight. They're really kind of trying to blend smaller and a little bit lighter with a little bit of that premium feel. They're sort of a little bit of a laminated in-betweener, if you will. Now, the slide closed road mode access on this one, you're either going to say, that's fine, or you're going to say, wow, I hate it. Deal broken right there. And let me know what the case is. I don't mind. That's why I like showing you stuff. So first of all, you might notice how that cargo door can go right down between all the furniture and stuff here. Now, depending on what you're loading, like if you have a kayak or something like that, you're going to want to make sure like you throw a blanket over it so it's not digging into all your cabinetry. But the fact is, you can load some long stuff down in here. In case you're wondering what we're looking at, here's the kayak's point of view, or like the dog kennel, or I don't know, cat litter box or something like that. By the way, did you notice there's some D-ring tie downs back here? So for travel stop function, what can you get to in here? Thankfully, they thought about this and they made sure the refrigerator door opened this way, and it's not awesome access. Don't get me wrong. I think you can still reach in here, maybe go armpit deep if you have to, and get to enough stuff. And you might notice our kitchen drawers down here we can easily get to. So bathroom and snacktastic access, that's not a question. Where it becomes tricky is the bedroom. Because if you're traveling and you need to get up front, or if the RV's in storage and you need to get packed up, or if you came back from a trip and you need to get unpacked, I think you get the idea. You're going to need to utilize the second door here. I know it's going to be a problem for some folks. Some folks ain't going to care. I'm just going to take the time to do my best to showcase what is, what isn't, let you decide what works, and you let me know. Is that a deal breaker? Is that all right? Do you hate the second door? Do you like the second door? Do you like seeing it over here with the slide closed on this side? Are you ready for me to shut up and move on? All right, so we're just under 30 feet long. This thing maxes out about 7,500 pounds. I do think that qualifies it, generally speaking, for late model, tow package, half-ton capability. It's not too big, it's not too heavy, it shouldn't muscle you around. But again, towing varies more than just, hey, what's your tow rating? Like where you're towing, both in terms of the weather patterns that you expect to see, as well as the terrain. All that stuff is a factor. All that stuff factors into how something is going to tow. And if you only look at just the capacities of the vehicle, mathematically, I can tell you if you're safe, I guess, but safety and comfort are not always the same thing. And I want to be able to provide you with that extra little bit of information in these videos. Put it in perspective a little bit. Because, my uncle, who lives in the Smoky Mountains, what he considers half-ton towable is very different from what I consider half-ton towable over here in Flatlands, Southern Michigan. I want to give J-Feather some serious credit. Look at the awning on this. They have become the unsung heroes of maximum patio awning space. They put bigger awnings per capita on their RVs than I think just about anybody else, pound for pound, dollar for dollar. They are really leading the charge on that. Now, those baggage doors, they do have magnetic holdbacks. You might have noticed how they, I didn't have to fight them. They weren't dropping down on my head or anything like that. The water heater, let's get up close and personal with this little guy over here, right under the name J Feather, because K Feather would just be stupid, obviously. They've updated to a tankless on-demand water heater. I want to give you a little word of caution right here, and this might be a deal breaker. I might not sell this RV because of this. Hope you appreciate the info. You want to be sensitive to the fact that you have a hot exhaust over here on the campsite of the RV, under the awning, probably next to where your picnic table is going to be. I don't get so bothered about furnace exhausts being over here because you tend to use those only when it's colder. That tends to be less of an issue. But a water heater, you're going to use spring, summer, fall, winter, whatever the case may be. So kind of keep that in mind. If you've got littles running around, you want to make sure they stay away from that. Goodyear Endurance radials, prepped for TPMS. Big Brother Whitehawk will actually start to include the tire pressure monitoring. And their camp kitchen has gone through a couple different variations. This is the longest I've seen it be consistent here, which is to say 2 seasons. You've got the J-port down below, which is the little mounting arm where the griddle platform goes on to. Now, when the griddle's out of the box, it slots right into that little tray awful nicely. Now, you've got the dual pull-out drawers. First time I ever recorded this camp kitchen, I had the griddle pivoted 90 degrees the other way, couldn't open the drawer, and I thought it was stupid. Turns out it was just me. But it's not the first time I've made a mistake. Today, in fact, actually, I believe I did something wrong before I even woke up today, or at least maybe that's what my wife dreamed. Fellas, you ever have your wife dream you did something wrong? And then she's mad at you all day about that. I guess that's just the cross we have to bear. Now, it doesn't want to slide out too easy, but that is the dog dish sink, basically. That is not one that actually has a drain. And this is interesting. You've got like a neat little cutting board or gas station murder hobo self-defender over here with a handy little kind of storage solution going on below it. And it kind of, the top slots in place right there. I don't know, just kind of to each their own. Be curious to know what you think about that whole situation. Now, this is just my personal opinion, and maybe I'm tainting the answer pool here. I don't understand what happened to real sinks in camp kitchens, how they're not plumbed in there anymore. It's just like they've become so rare. Rockwood, Freedom Express do a handful of them still, and it's like everybody else forgot how to run a sink in a camp kitchen. I don't know. Now, on the back here, obviously we have the cargo door. What I do want you to know, though, is that you do have a deadbolt on this, so you have the choice of, the kids sleeping alone or the kids sleeping with friends. Again, the gas station murder hobos notwithstanding. And the wind just picked up. Apologies if that's eating into the microphone. You don't have to worry about getting on the roof of this one because the ladder, well, no, you want to get up there for, I'm sorry, I phrased that extremely stupidly. Allow me to back up here. You need to get up on the roof to perform your regular maintenance, but getting up there isn't quite as much of a challenge because Jayco does standardize a rear ladder on these. That's what I was trying to say, and what came out of my mouth sounded something dangerously close to the roof is maintenance free. It is not. It is not what I am saying. Now, we're not looking at solar today, but there are factory standard, not standard, God bless America, I'm stupid today. There are factory solar packages available. I didn't sleep well last night, and it's like my brain's just in a fog over here. My apologies. Now, one of the cool things here, they did this extremely well. They plumbed everything back here to this single stinky slinky sewer station. The underbelly, by the way, it is forced air heated. J-Feathers, unlike Whitehawks and Eagles, haven't actually gone through weather testing. So the best I can tell you is that these are extended season rated, but they are all using the new quick drop stabilizer jacks, which is very cool. Those things basically, if you use them properly, offer far more stability. And can keep the RV from herky-jerky rock and rolling a heck of a lot better than the old conventional scissor jacks. Not to mention, they fold up flatter, so there's less of them hanging down, taking a chance to get ripped off. Now, you might notice there are no slide awning prep brackets on this. Sometimes the RV industry doesn't do itself any favors. Does that mean you can't install slide awnings on this? And the answer to that is no. If you want to put slide awnings on this RV, You definitely can. The structure does exist within the face of that, but understand, manufacturers do not cover and warrant work they didn't do. So make sure you have a good service center who stands behind their work just in case the unfortunate event that something does go wrong occurs. Why did I say occurs so weird? Like occurs? Now, to be totally fair, I do think that this most definitely qualifies first and foremost as a family bunkhouse model. But I do still feel, especially looking at how it's built today, folks who maybe you've got some kind of fancy pants bikes that you don't want to store outside where just anybody could get to that thing, that cargo bunk function, this might just be that in-betweener. It's just in-betweener enough to be able to give you some of those almost toy haulerish cargo functions without going onto a full toy hauler because you don't have a big side-by-side. Or like I said, maybe like a cat litter space that a lot of models otherwise just don't provide. I would be very curious to know, what do you folks think? Like, could you see this being a viable couples model, especially with the seating setup that we have here today? Or, you know what? Do me this favor. Leave me a note in the description or in the comment section. What seating, what solar package, what decor would you prefer on this? And that way we can make sure that we're doing a better job for you maybe next season or next time around or however often we get around to ordering these things. I don't even know. I'm not involved in that anymore. When you're ready, we're ready. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun. And remember, I'll leave you some links in the video description for pricing, availability, and similar floor plans, everyone. Roses are red. I like that song. The way I wrapped up that video took awful long.